The shutdown is nigh because apparently negotiations have stalled. Border wall talks crumble as Trump eyes emergency declaration, taking all bets right now. I mean that metaphorically. We don't do gambling. I think it's illegal. Do you think we're going to see an emergency declaration for Trump? Because my understanding right now is that the current state of negotiations have stopped exactly where they stopped before. Let's read the story because we got another. Don't worry, we got another story. There's hope. Because even if Trump can't make the wall happen, Trump supporters have formed their own human wall. But we'll get to that one. Border wall negotiations on Capitol Hill crumbled over the weekend, increasing the chances President Donald Trump declares a national emergency Friday, three sources close to the process tell the Daily Caller. The negotiations stalled over a Democratic demand that detention bed funding for immigration and customs enforcement to house detained illegal immigrants be reduced in exchange for border wall funding. Lead Republican negotiator Senator Richard Shelby told Fox News Sunday that the chances of a deal are 50-50 after expressing optimism on Thursday. Well, that would mean that comment below. We'll come back. I probably won't, but we can come back to the comments and see who was right and who was wrong when I believe it's the 15th, right? An administration source directly involved in the process told the Daily Caller that Trump began speaking more about declaring a national emergency Sunday after nearly a week of expressing optimism that the congressional talks could bear fruit. Trump also tweeted to that effect Sunday afternoon. They have his tweet here. It's a quote. President is on sound legal ground to declare a national emergency. There have been 58 national emergencies declared since the law was enacted in 1976 and 31 right now that are currently active. So this is hardly unprecedented. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney said he absolutely cannot rule out a shutdown on Fox News Sunday, later saying on NBC News that Trump is going to do whatever he legally can to secure the border. Trump has also signaled to White House negotiators on Capitol Hill, and Capitol Hill Republicans that he is willing to accept a $2 billion figure in border wall funding, two sources close to the process tell the Caller. Democrats, however, have made any acceptance of this figure contingent on an agreement to limit funding for ICE detention beds. There's something that needs to be said that I've probably brought up before, but come on, man. The Washington Post editorials during the past shutdown said Trump has basically walked back everything. There are a ton of Trump supporters, I think, like Ann Coulter is furious because she wants a big, beautiful 30-foot concrete wall. And Trump at this point is basically saying, okay, how about 200 miles of steel slats, right? So a lot of people are fine with that. And I think the most important thing is, for one, the wall idea, in my opinion, was always kind of like, sure, whatever. My response to the whole shutdown, it's like, dude, it's $5 billion, right? I know that sounds like a lot of money to you and me, but can you please just, like, I was talking to my dad, I'm like, just give baby his bottle. If you're so concerned that the wall is pointless or immoral, whatever, well, okay. If you think it's a waste of money, or you think it's a waste of time, or we're losing more money, whatever. Just, if you think it's not going to work, let him have the wall, and then you can wave it, like, wiggle your finger in his face, right? The point is, Trump has basically walked back everything. And now he's offering up basically what Border Patrol agents say they need. Okay, great. Are we done with this yet? Why is it a big issue? I understand $5 billion is a lot of money, but not when you compare it to the rest of the budget. This is just a political fight. Let's be honest. It's the Democrats don't want to lose. Trump doesn't want to lose. Trump wants to deal, like, what Trump is proposing actually would solve some problems. Is the money worth the effectiveness? I don't know. But it will. I mean, it's obvious that it will solve some problems, especially if CBP is asking for it. Democrats are refusing to do it simply because they don't want to lose a political battle. It's absolutely insane. Democrats say that a cap on ICE detention beds will disincentivize the agency from detaining illegal aliens who have not committed crimes in the U.S. Quote, a cap on ICE detention beds will force the Trump administration to prioritize deportation for criminals and people who pose real security threats, not law-abiding immigrants who are contributing to our country, Congressional negotiator Lucille Roybal-Allard said in a Sunday statement. Republicans and ICE itself counter that putting a cap on the number of illegal aliens it is capable of detaining would in effect mean free rein for murderers and gang criminals convicted of felonies. An administration source involved in the process expressed outrage at the demand to the caller, noting that the Democratic lawmakers are essentially risking another government shutdown or national emergency declaration to secure status for people in the country illegally. Illegals over Americans, the source said to the caller. Trump also expressed outrage at the Democratic demand on Twitter Monday morning, saying, The Democrats do not want us to detain or send back criminal aliens. This is a brand new demand. Crazy. Trump is likely to share his thoughts on the developments at a Monday evening rally in El Paso, Texas, which is set to take place less than 1,000 feet from a border wall. So it looks like we are going to be hearing that very, very soon. But I have to wonder, why is it that Republicans and ICE and CBP are aligned, but not the Democrats? You had, I believe it was Ilhan Omar, just ripe for controversy, saying not $1 for DHS. Where is this coming from? The Democrats, look, we have Homeland Security. It's a law enforcement division with subdivisions like the TSA, with ICE. I think CBP, I could be wrong. But we need funding for law enforcement. I mean, come on. You can be in favor of respecting, refugee status or, human rights and all that, and still recognize we need border security. You can't just take the money away from it. So what is it that's driving this divide where the Republicans and the agencies are like, yeah, okay, so we're going to do. And not only that, if CBP, if Trump says he wants a 30-foot high massive wall with his picture on it, right? I'm being facetious. And ICE says, no, we don't want that. We want steel slats. And then Trump says, okay, fine, we'll give you steel slats. Why are the Democrats rejecting that notion? Trump's walked back everything. I mean, it's fair to point out the big ask is a part of the sales technique for Trump, right? You ask for something more than you want, and then you walk down to what you think is more reasonable. So if Trump has walked back basically everything, come on, where are we at? But as I mentioned earlier, it may be okay because even if, I'm joking here, but activists, Trump supporting activists formed a human wall. And so this was in preparation for the visit. This is for the El Paso Monday rally today. Trump supporters formed human wall at southern border. Dozens of supporters of President Donald Trump's border security efforts formed a human wall Saturday across a small part of the southern border where there is no fencing. The group gathered near Sunland Park, New Mexico, linking arms and chanting, "Build a wall," according to CNN affiliate KFOX, which is, I believe, I don't know. Many held up American flags. Some sported Make America Great Again hats and said they were there to show their support for the construction of a wall at the border. The demonstration came just 2 days before President Donald Trump's visit to El Paso, Texas for a rally on Monday. During a State of the Union address last week, the president made an inaccurate connection between El Paso's previously high crime rates and the construction of a border wall. The border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime, one of the highest in the country, and considered one of our nation's most dangerous cities, Trump said in the address. Now, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of our safest cities. In response to his statement, Democratic Rep. Veronica Escobar wrote to Trump asking him to apologize to the residents of the city, which he represents, for his comments. These distortions about our vibrant community are harmful to our reputation and degrade our spirit, Escobar wrote. I urge you to treat this visit as your opportunity not only to correct the record and ensure that the misinformation you stated on the national stage is retracted, but also an opportunity to apologize to El Pasoans for the disparagement of our community. Women's March El Paso has organized a counter to Trump's visit. Former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke will join a 1-mile march past Trump's rally, give a speech across the street at about the same time the president plans to take the stage. Women's March, huh? Well, we all know about them. So look, it's rare for me to see people actually come out in protest and take action. Republicans, I mean. It is rare for me, in my experience, to see conservatives and Republicans actually take any kind of action like this. For the most part, they don't. The first time I saw Republicans actually get up and do something was the Tea Party. But again, look, I'm going to be 33 soon. I'm 32 years old. So maybe things have happened throughout my life. I just haven't been aware of them. But to see people getting up, waving flags, and doing a symbolic protest action, or whatever you want to call it, it's shown us that, not just this, but in the past few years, I have seen Republicans get more active about these issues than ever before. I've seen Republicans march and wave little American flags. This is not too dissimilar. This is a symbolic protest. But what we've seen with conservatives, I think I was in Boston, and I saw Trump flags and conservatives marching through the streets chanting. I think they were chanting, whose streets, our streets. I'm not entirely sure. But it was funny for me to see people who typically don't protest, who don't get out, they're this riled up about it. But more to the point, we're like I mentioned earlier, we're not talking about a massive, insane border, concrete wall you can't see through. We're talking now about extreme compromise. Trump made a statement about El Paso's crime going down. He was criticized heavily for this because there are certain areas on the northern border that also experience crime and things like that too. And correlation is not causation. Fine. Criticize him for that. Ask him to apologize for it. But you can see that there are still people here who support him who do want border barriers. Does their voice matter? So I'm not saying everyone in El Paso is advocating for a wall. I'm just going to end by saying, I don't care. I don't care. Seriously, why is this an issue? In my opinion, it's because the Democrats want it to be an issue. Trump's basically given up at this point. Supporters of his, former supporters, they're angry that they're not getting their big, beautiful wall. But Trump's walking it back and willing to just do a border barrier on select areas. Can we be done with this by now? But one more thing. In reference to the State of the Union address, it would seem, as I predicted, his approval rating has gone up. People supported what he said. That's the next video, so stick around. It should be up in just a few minutes on this channel. Trump's approval rating, it went up. And for the first time, for some polls, it's positive. It's above the majority. So stick around. That video coming up soon. I'll see you then.